95% of the person you are today is just a set of memorized behaviors, emotional reactions, and beliefs that you didn't even choose for yourself. Most of us are living in a house built by our childhood traumas and social pressure, wondering why the roof is leaking, when the truth is we need to burn the whole building down and start from the dirt. Look, I'll be real with you. This isn't going to be one of those fluffy, love yourself talks. We're going deep into something called the identity death protocol. It's the exact psychological process of letting your old self die so a version of you that actually wins can take over. By the time we're done here, you're going to have a 4-step framework to audit your current life and decide exactly which parts stay and which parts get incinerated. You don't want to skip a single second of this because there's a specific trap later on called the comfort loop. It's what keeps people stuck in a new life that's actually just the old one with a different coat of paint. If you miss that part, you'll just repeat your mistakes in a more expensive outfit. The book we're breaking down is called Destroy the Old You, Rebuild from Zero. It's basically a radical self-reinvention manual that focuses on ego death and intentional habit construction. In a world where everyone is burnt out and just quiet quitting their own existence, this is the aggressive, no-nonsense philosophy you need to break out of mediocrity. Let's get into the first big idea, the sunk cost fallacy of the self. This is a massive one. We all know what a sunk cost is in business. It's when you keep pouring money into a failing project just because you've already spent a lot on it. But we do this with our personalities too. Just because you've spent 10 years being the shy guy, or the corporate worker, or the person who never finishes anything, doesn't mean you have to spend another minute being that person. The author argues that we stay miserable because we're weirdly loyal to a version of ourselves that doesn't even exist anymore. Think about that. You're holding on to a ghost. You're protecting a version of you that was created by a scared 10-year-old or a confused teenager. Keeping a toxic personality trait or a limiting belief is exactly like keeping a car that doesn't start just because you paid for it a decade ago. It's taking up space in your driveway. It's an eyesore. It's useless. But you tell yourself, well, that's just my car. No, it's not. It's just junk you haven't hauled away yet. If you've ever felt like you're just playing a character in your own life, hit that like button so I know I'm not just talking to myself here. It helps the algorithm find more people who actually need to hear this. Because honestly, the old you is a heavy weight to carry, and it's okay to let it go. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. You can't just decide to be someone else while you're surrounded by the people who know who you used to be. That leads us to lesson 2, intentional isolation, or what the book calls the void. You cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. It's a hard truth. To truly destroy the old you, you have to temporarily withdraw from the social circles that reinforce your old identity. Think about it. If you're trying to stop being a pushover, but you're hanging out with friends who have spent 5 years walking all over you, they aren't going to let you change. They'll subconsciously pull you back into your old role because it's comfortable for them. The book uses this great analogy. You can't paint a masterpiece while 5 people are constantly bumping into your arm. You need space. You need a vacuum. You need the void. This isn't about being a hermit forever. It's about taking a season of your life to go dark. When you aren't performing for anyone, you finally get to see who you actually are when nobody's watching. It's scary because the silence is loud, but that silence is where the new version of you starts to breathe. Now, while you're in that void, you have to do the work. This brings us to lesson 3, the inventory of lies. Radical honesty about your current failures is the only foundation for a new life. We spend so much energy lying to ourselves. We say, "It's not that bad," or "I'm just waiting for the right opportunity," or "I'm a hard worker, I'm just unlucky." The book demands a brutal audit. You have to look at your health, your bank account, and your mind with zero emotion. Just facts. If you're out of shape, say, "I am out of shape because I am lazy and eat garbage." If you're broke, say, "I am broke because I spend money on things I don't need to impress people I don't like." It sounds mean, right? But it's not mean. It's accurate. You can't fix a problem if you're pretending it's a learning experience. The reason we lie to ourselves is to avoid the pain of change. Change is terrifying. But you know what's more terrifying? Staying exactly where you are for the next 40 years. The inventory of lies is about taking the matches and lighting the fire. You have to see the rot before you can cut it out. And trust me, once you start being honest, you'll realize how much energy you were wasting trying to maintain those lies. But wait, the craziest part is still ahead. Once you've cleared the wreckage, you don't just wait to see who shows up. You have to build the avatar. This is lesson 4. Most people think they need to find themselves. The author says that's total nonsense. You don't find yourself, you create yourself. Treat your new self like a video game character you're designing from scratch. If you were building a character to win at the game of life, what stats would you give them? You'd probably give them high discipline, some stoicism, maybe some better social skills. You wouldn't give them crippling social anxiety and addiction to scrolling TikTok, right? So, start selecting those traits. If you want to be a disciplined person, you don't wait to feel disciplined. You just perform the actions of a disciplined person until the brain catches up. You practice the traits. You wear them like a new suit until they stop feeling itchy. This is the part where you realize you have total agency. You aren't stuck with the hand you were dealt. You can go back to the menu and reallocate your points. We're getting into the heavy lifting now. If this is making sense to you, subscribe and join the community. We're all trying to figure this out together, and having a group of people who are also rebuilding from zero makes the process a lot less lonely. Now, as you're building this new avatar, you're going to hit a wall. That wall is the need for permission. This is lesson 5, killing the need for permission. Waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to change is exactly why you're stuck right now. Most people are waiting for a sign or a mentor to appear, or the right time when the stars align and their bank account is perfect. The author pushes for something called aggressive autonomy. You don't need a coach to tell you to start waking up at 6 a.m. You don't need a degree to start learning a new skill online. You don't need your parents' approval to quit the job that's killing your soul. The world is designed to keep you in your place. People like it when you stay the same because it makes them feel safe. When you start changing, you're holding up a mirror to their own stagnation, and they will try to help you by telling you to stay realistic. Kill the need for their permission. You are the only one who has to live your life. If you wait for the green light from everyone else, you'll die at the intersection. And hold on, this next part changes everything. You can have the best plan in the world, but if your brain is fried, you're going to fail. Lesson 6 is the dopamine detox and rewiring. You cannot rebuild a brain that is addicted to instant gratification. Destruction requires focus. Rebuilding requires sustained effort. But if you're getting a hit of dopamine every 5 seconds from scrolling or junk food or cheap thrills, you will never have the stamina to do the hard work. You have to kill the cheap thrills to value the hard wins. The author is very strict about this. When you're in the rebuilding phase, you have to cut the noise. No mindless scrolling. No numbing yourself with substances. No chasing easy hits of validation. You need to get bored. You need to let your brain reset so that finishing a difficult task actually feels good again. If your baseline for fun is a high-speed internet connection and a bag of chips, then writing a business plan or going for a run is going to feel like torture. You have to lower the floor so the ceiling feels higher. Finally, we have Lesson 7, the maintenance of the new machine. This is where most people fail. They do the identity death thing for a week, they feel great, and then they slowly slide back. Transformation is a daily discipline, not a one-time event. The old you is like a weed. It's got deep roots. If you don't tend the garden every single day, that old version of you, the one who procrastinates, the one who's afraid, the one who settles, will grow back. You need systems. You need a morning routine that isn't about wellness, but about armor. You need a nightly review to see where the old self tried to sneak back in. I'll be real with you. The part that hit me hardest about this book was the idea that I was being loyal to my past. I realized I was making decisions based on what a 20-year-old version of me wanted. But I'm not that guy anymore. I don't owe him anything. I don't have to keep his habits or his friends or his fears. What I loved about this book is that it removes the victim narrative. It doesn't care about your why or your story. It just puts the matches in your hand and asks if you're brave enough to light them. Now, the bad side? It's very lone wolf. It kind of ignores the fact that we need people. Radical isolation can lead to depression if you aren't careful. You have to balance the destruction with a bit of human connection, or you'll just be a very disciplined, very lonely person. But if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like you're living a life you didn't choose, this is the blueprint. Drop a comment with the word reset if you're actually committed to changing one thing this week. I want to see who's actually watching and who's just scrolling. Here's the one big takeaway from the whole thing. You are not your past. You are the person who survived it. The only thing standing between you and the person you want to be is your own weirdly intense loyalty to the person you used to be. The version of you that exists in other people's heads is not your responsibility to maintain. To be reborn, you must first die. And remember, comfort is the anesthesia that allows your potential to be amputated without you noticing. Stop being comfortable. Start the fire. Destroy the old you so the real you can finally show up. Seriously, think about the old you for a second. That person is a collection of reactions. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you get angry. Why? Because you've always been an angry driver. Someone asks you to lead a meeting and your stomach knots up. Why? Because you're the quiet one. These aren't your DNA. They are just scripts you've been reading for so long that you've forgotten you didn't write them. The author talks about this idea that we are basically operating on an outdated operating system. Like trying to run the latest software on a computer from 1995. It's going to glitch. It's going to crash. It's going to overheat. You can't just patch it anymore. You have to wipe the hard drive. Wiping the hard drive is what the inventory of lies is all about. It's the most painful part of the process because you have to admit that you've been the villain in your own story. We love to be the victim. Being the victim is easy. If it's someone else's fault, the economy, your parents, your boss, then you don't have to do anything. You can just sit there and complain. But when you realize you are the one who kept the old you alive, that's when the power shifts. It's a heavy responsibility, but it's also the only way out. If you built the prison, you have the keys. Let's talk more about the void. People are terrified of being alone. We fill every second of our lives with noise. We have podcasts playing while we shower. We scroll while we eat. We have the TV on while we sleep. Why? Because we are afraid of the thoughts that come up when it's quiet. When you enter the void, those thoughts are going to come for you. They're going to tell you that you're a failure, that you're making a mistake, that you should just go back to what you know. This is the old you fighting for its life. It's a parasite that doesn't want to lose its host. But if you stay in that silence long enough, something amazing happens. The noise dies down, the panic fades, and you start to hear a very small, very quiet voice that actually knows what it wants. That's the real you. That's the avatar you need to start building. When you start building that avatar, don't try to be perfect. Perfection is just another lie we use to avoid starting. Just pick one trait. Let's say you want to be someone who is physically strong. The old you says, "We aren't gym people. We're tired. We have bad knees." The avatar doesn't care about your knees. The avatar just goes to the gym. You do it as a performance first. You're an actor playing the role of a gym person. You go, you move some weights, you leave. You do it again the next day. Eventually, the costume starts to feel like skin. The performance becomes a reality. This is the secret that the old you doesn't want you to know. Identity follows action. We think we have to feel like a new person before we can act like one. It's the opposite. You act like the new person until you eventually forget you were ever the old one. But you have to be careful of the comfort loop. This is the trap I mentioned earlier. This is when you make a few changes. You buy some new clothes, you start a new hobby, but you keep the same mindset. You're just the old you with a new paint job. The comfort loop happens when you stop the destruction too early. You burn down the kitchen, but you leave the rest of the house standing. Then you wonder why the house still smells like smoke. You have to be willing to lose everything. Your friends might not like the new you. Your family might be confused. You might lose the comfort of your old routines. That's the price of admission. You can't have a new life and keep your old one. It's a trade. And it's a trade you have to be willing to make every single day. The author says something that really stuck with me. Most people are just a collection of other people's opinions. Think about that. How much of what you do is because you actually want to do it, and how much is because you're afraid of what someone else will think? When you kill the need for permission, you realize that most people aren't even looking at you. They're too busy worrying about what you think of them. Everyone is trapped in their own little bubble of insecurity. Once you realize that, the old you loses its power. The old you was built on the foundation of social approval. The new you is built on the foundation of self-respect. Self-respect is the only thing that lasts. It's the maintenance of the new machine. It's waking up and doing the hard thing because you said you would. It's looking in the mirror and knowing that you aren't a lie anymore. This process is aggressive. It's not for everyone. Most people will watch this, think, "That's interesting," and then go right back to their old habits. They'll keep living in that leaking house until it collapses on them. But if you're still here, if you're still listening, it's because you know the building is already on fire. You can smell the smoke. You know you can't stay there. So, take the matches, do the audit, enter the void, build the avatar. It's going to hurt. It's supposed to. You're killing a part of yourself. But on the other side of that death is the only version of you that's actually worth being. The old you had its time. It got you this far, but it can't take you where you need to go next. Thank it for surviving and then let it go. Look at your life right now. Really look at it. The things you're holding on to, the grudges, the excuses, the someday plans, those are the anchors. Cut the ropes. The author talks about aggressive autonomy as a way of taking back your time. We give our time away to things that don't matter. We give it to apps that sell our attention to advertisers. We give it to people who drain our energy. We give it to thoughts that make us feel small. When you start your dopamine detox, you're going to realize how much time you actually have. You're going to realize that "I don't have time" was just another lie in your inventory. You have the time, you just didn't have the focus. Rebuilding from zero means you have to be okay with being a beginner again. The old you hated being a beginner. The old you wanted to be the expert, or at least look like one. But the new you knows that the only way to get anywhere is to start at the bottom and climb. It's a long climb. There are no shortcuts. There are no hacks. There is only the daily discipline of being the person you decided to be. Every morning you have to wake up and decide to kill the old self again. Because it will try to come back. It will whisper that you're tired. It will whisper that one day off won't hurt. It will whisper that you've done enough. Don't listen. The old you is a liar. It's the one who got you into the mess you're trying to escape. The new you is the one who does the work. The new you is the one who stays in the void until the masterpiece is finished. The new you is the one who doesn't need permission to exist. This isn't just about self-improvement. It's about self-creation. It's about taking the raw material of your life and turning it into something meaningful. The book ends with a challenge, and I want to leave you with the same one. What is one part of your quote-unquote old self that you are going to kill today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Is it the habit of complaining? Is it the need for everyone to like you? Is it the fear of starting that project? Identify it, name it, and then do the opposite. If you're a complainer, spend the next 24 hours in total silence or only speaking positive things. If you need everyone to like you, go out and do something that might make someone disagree with you. If you're afraid of starting, spend 5 minutes doing the thing you're afraid of. Break the script. Destroy the pattern. You aren't a tree. You aren't stuck in one place. You are a human being with the incredible, terrifying ability to change everything about yourself. But you have to want it more than you want to be comfortable. You have to want the new you more than you love the old you. Most people love their misery because it's familiar. They'd rather be unhappy in a way they understand than be happy in a way that's new. Don't be most people. Burn the building down. Start from the dirt. Build something that actually reflects who you are. It's a 25-minute conversation, but it's a lifetime of work. And it starts with the first match. The old you is already dead. You just haven't realized it yet. It's time to stop carrying the corpse around. Put it down. Walk away. Don't look back. The void is waiting. And inside that void is the person you were always meant to be. Think about the sunk cost fallacy again. Think about all those years you spent building a reputation or a career or a personality that doesn't even make you happy. You feel like you can't leave because you've invested so much, but that investment is gone. You can't get those years back. The only thing you can control is the next 10 years. Do you want them to look like the last 10? If the answer is no, then the cost of staying is way higher than the cost of leaving. Leaving is expensive. It costs you your comfort. It costs you your ego. It might even cost you some money. But staying costs you your soul. It costs you your potential. It costs you the only life you're ever going to get. When you look at it that way, the choice is obvious. But obvious doesn't mean easy. That's why you need the avatar. You need a vision of the future that is more compelling than the comfort of the past. You need to be able to see that person, the one who is disciplined, the one who is honest, the one who is free. And you need to want to be them more than you want to stay on the couch. The dopamine detox is the tool that makes that possible. It clears the fog. It lets you see the world as it really is, not as a series of distractions. When you stop the cheap thrills, you start to notice the small wins. You notice how good it feels to finish a book. You notice how good it feels to have a real conversation. You notice how good it feels to wake up and not immediately check your phone. These are the bricks you use to build the new house. They're small, but they're solid. And if you lay one every day, eventually you'll have a structure that won't leak when the storm comes. The maintenance is the hard part. The old you will wait for a moment of weakness. It will wait for a rainy day or a bad breakup or a stressful week at work. It will show up with a drink or a bag of chips or a familiar excuse. It will say, "Come on, just for tonight. You've worked so hard, you deserve a break." That's the trap. That's the comfort loop. A break is fine, but returning to your old identity isn't a break, it's a relapse. You have to be vigilant. You have to be the guard at the gate of your own mind. You have to decide every single day that the new you is worth the effort. The book Destroy the Old You, Rebuild from Zero isn't a suggestion, it's a demand. It demands that you take responsibility for the person you are. It tells you that you are the architect, the builder, and the resident of your own life. If you don't like the house, don't complain about the builder. Look in the mirror, and then go get the matches. The beauty of starting from zero is that you can build anything. You aren't limited by the old foundations. You aren't limited by the old blueprints. You can build a life of adventure. You can build a life of service. You can build a life of quiet peace. The choice is yours. It always has been. You just had to be willing to destroy the person who was making the wrong choices. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep playing the character? Or are you going to step off the stage and start living? The old you is waiting for your answer, but the new you is already walking out the door. Don't let the old you win. It's had its turn. It's time for something better. It's time for the truth. It's time for the void. It's time for the rebuilding. And it starts right now. I'll be real, I've had to do this myself. There was a time in my life where I realized I was living for everyone else's expectations. I was the successful one, but I was miserable. I was, quote-unquote, the reliable one, but I was burnt out. I had to enter the void. I had to stop talking to people who only liked me for what I could do for them. I had to look at my inventory of lies and admit that I was chasing things I didn't even want. It was the hardest year of my life. I felt like I was losing my mind. I felt like I was losing my identity. But on the other side, I found a version of myself that I actually like. A version that doesn't need permission to be happy. A version that doesn't need to lie to feel important. That's why I'm so passionate about this, because I know it works. I know the fire is worth the heat. If you're feeling the heat right now, don't run away. Lean into it. Let it burn away everything that isn't real. Let it burn away the fear. Let it burn away the excuses. Let it burn away the old you. What's left will be the foundation for something incredible. But you have to be the one to light the match. The author says, "The only way to be reborn is to first die." It's a heavy quote, but it's the truth. You can't be both people at once. You have to choose. Choose the person you want to be. Choose the avatar. Choose the new you. And then do the work to make it real. The maintenance is a daily discipline. The systems are your protection. The autonomy is your power. Don't wait for a sign. This is the sign. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is the moment you decide to change. The old you is gone. The new you is waiting. Go find them in the void. Everything you want is on the other side of the person you currently are. To get there, you have to let go of the version of yourself that can't reach it. Think about a lobster. As it grows, its shell becomes too tight. It becomes uncomfortable. It becomes painful. To keep growing, the lobster has to crawl under a rock, shed its old shell, and wait, completely vulnerable, for a new, bigger shell to grow. That vulnerability is the void. It's the period where you don't have a shell. You're exposed. You're scared. But if you don't go through that, you stop growing. You stay trapped in a shell that's too small until it eventually kills you. Don't stay in a shell that's too small. Don't stay in a life that doesn't fit. Crawl under the rock. Shed the old identity. Wait for the new one to form. It's a natural process. It's how growth works. But as humans, we try to fight it. We try to stay in the old shell because we're afraid of being vulnerable. We try to tape the old shell back together. We try to paint it a different color. But it's still too small. It's still suffocating us. Stop fighting the growth. Stop fighting the destruction. The destruction is the growth. When you destroy the old you aren't losing anything. You're just making room for the new you to breathe. You're making room for the potential that's been trapped inside. So, take a deep breath. Look at the old you one last time, and then let it go. The fire is waiting. The void is waiting. The rebuilding is waiting. And you? You're finally ready. The inventory of lies you've been keeping is the weight that's been holding you back. When you're honest about your failures, you stop wasting energy pretending. That energy can then be used to build. Radical honesty is like a superpower. When you stop lying to yourself, you stop being afraid of the truth. And when you aren't afraid of the truth, you can do anything. The avatar you design doesn't have to be a superhero. It just has to be real. It just has to be the person you actually want to be when no one is watching. The dopamine detox is how you find the focus to build that person. It's how you reclaim your brain from the corporations that want to keep you distracted and docile. The intentional isolation is how you protect that new person while they're still fragile. And the aggressive autonomy is how you take that new person out into the world and live your life on your own terms. It's a complete system. It's a blueprint for a new existence. But it only works if you do it. It only works if you're willing to be the one with the matches. The old you is a ghost. Stop letting a ghost run your life. The new you is the future, and the future starts now. Remember, you are not your past. You are the person who survived it. Be the survivor. Be the builder. Be the new you. The journey from zero is the most important journey you'll ever take. Because when you start from zero, you know that everything you build is yours. No one gave it to you. No one chose it for you. You built it. And that is the ultimate freedom. So, go build it. The old you is already fading. Let it go. The void is waiting. And it's the most beautiful place in the world. Because it's the place where you finally get to be yourself. The maintenance of this new machine is where your character is forged. It's in the quiet moments at 5 a.m. when you're tired, but you get up anyway. It's in the moments when you're tempted to lie, but you tell the truth. It's in the moments when the old you screams for attention, and you choose to stay silent. That is where the transformation happens. It's not in the big realizations or the emotional breakthroughs. It's in the boring, daily discipline of being someone new. It's in the systems. The author talks about how we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. If your system is, I'll change when I feel like it, you'll never change. Because the old you will make sure you never feel like it. But if your system is, I do X every single day no matter what, then the old you doesn't stand a chance. The system is stronger than the feeling. The system is how you kill the old you over and over again until it finally stays dead. And it will stay dead. One day you'll look back at the person you used to be and they'll feel like a stranger. You'll remember their name, you'll remember their face, but you won't remember what it felt like to be them. You'll be too busy living as the person you chose to be. That is the reward. That is the payoff. It's not the success or the money or the status. It's the peace of knowing that you are finally, truly yourself. The old you was a character in a story you didn't write. The new you is the author. Write a better story. Start today. Start now. The matches are in your hand. Don't let the old you talk you out of it. It's scared. It knows its time is up. It's time for the fire. It's time for the void. It's time for the truth. Destroy the old you. Rebuild from zero, and don't look back. The person you want to be is waiting for you on the other side of the fire. Go meet them. The old you is a collection of defense mechanisms. It's a suit of armor you put on to survive a world that felt dangerous. But that armor is now too heavy. It's rusting. It's pinning you down. You don't need it anymore. You've survived. You're safe. You can take the armor off. It's going to feel weird at first. You're going to feel exposed. You're going to feel like everyone can see your weaknesses. But they can also see your strength. They can see your heart. They can see your potential. The new you doesn't need armor. The new you is strong enough to be vulnerable. The new you is strong enough to be real. The old you was built on fear. The new you is built on purpose. And purpose is a much stronger foundation. So don't be afraid of the destruction. Don't be afraid of the void. It's just the clearing of the land before the construction begins. The old you is the debris. The new you is the skyscraper. Clear the land. Dig the foundation. Build something that reaches for the stars and never, ever settle for a house that leaks again. You are the architect. You are the builder. The matches are in your hand. Use them. The version of you that exists in other people's heads is a ghost. It's a memory. It's a projection. It's not you. You are the one who is here, right now, listening to this. You are the one who feels the fire. You are the one who knows it's time to change. Trust that person. Trust the new you. The old you had its chance. It did its best. But its best isn't good enough for where you're going. Thank it for everything, and then say goodbye. The void is calling. The rebuilding is starting, and you are finally free. The old you is dead. Long live the new you. The maintenance of the new machine is a lifetime commitment. It's not something you do once and then forget about. It's a daily practice of self-respect. It's choosing the hard truth over the easy lie. It's choosing the long-term win over the short-term thrill. It's choosing to be the person you said you would be, every single day. That is the secret to a life well lived. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about being the one who chooses. The old you didn't choose. It just reacted. It just followed the script. The new you chooses. Every day, every hour, every moment. That choice is your power. It's your freedom. It's your life. So, choose wisely. Choose the new you. The old you is gone. The fire has done its work. The void is clear. The foundation is ready. The rebuilding starts now. And this time, you're building something that's going to last. This time, you're building something that's actually yours. The old you is a memory. The new you is the reality. Live it. Breathe it. Be it. The matches are gone. The fire is out. The work begins. And you are the only one who can do it. So, get to work. The new you is waiting, and they're going to be incredible. The old you was just the prologue. The new you is the main story. And it's going to be a masterpiece. Because this time, you're the one holding the pen. Write it well. The old you is finally at peace. And you? You're finally alive. The new you doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be authentic. It needs to be the person who shows up, even when it's hard. It needs to be the person who tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It needs to be the person who keeps growing, even when it's easier to stay the same. That is the essence of the new you. It's not a finished product. It's a work in progress. And that's the beauty of it. You are a work in progress. You are a masterpiece in the making. The old you was just the rough draft. The new you is the final version. But the final version is never really finished. It's always evolving. It's always improving. That's the secret of the maintenance. It's not about staying the same. It's about continuing to grow. The old you was stagnant. The new you is dynamic. The old you was a closed book. The new you is an open one. So keep writing, keep building, keep growing. The old you is a ghost. Let it rest. The new you is the future. Let it shine. The old you was a reaction to the past. The new you is a creation for the future. The old you was a victim of circumstances. The new you is a master of destiny. The old you was afraid of the dark. The new you is the light. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And the world is waiting for you. Go show them who you really are. The old you is finally gone. The new you is finally here. And it's time to start living. The void is behind you. The rebuilding is ahead of you. And you are the one in control. The old you was a passenger. The new you is the driver. So drive. Drive toward the life you want. Drive toward the person you want to be. Drive toward the future. The old you is a memory in the rearview mirror. The new you is the one with the hands on the wheel. The old you was lost. The new you is found. The old you was a lie. The new you is the truth. The old you is dead. The new you is alive. And that is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. The gift of a new life. The gift of a new self. The gift of the new you. Use it well. The old you is finally at rest. The new you is finally at work. And the work is beautiful. The work is meaningful. The work is yours. So, do it with all your heart. Do it with all your soul. Do it as the new you. The old you is a story you used to tell. The new you is the life you're living now. And it's a better life. It's a real life. It's your life. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And everything is different now. Because you chose to change. Because you chose to destroy the old. Because you chose to rebuild from zero. Because you chose yourself. And that was the best choice you ever made. The old you is finally gone. The new you is finally here. And the journey has just begun. The old you was the end of the road. The new you is the beginning of the path. Walk it. The old you was the darkness. The new you is the dawn. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And the world is yours. The old you was a cage. The new you is the key. The old you was the problem. The new you is the solution. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And it's time to fly. The old you was the weight. The new you is the wings. The old you was the anchor. The new you is the sail. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And the wind is in your favor. The old you was the storm. The new you is the calm. The old you was the noise. The new you is the music. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And the song is beautiful. The old you was the fear. The new you is the courage. The old you was the doubt. The new you is the faith. The old you is gone. The new you is here. And anything is possible. The old you was the limit. The new you is the horizon. The old you was the past. The new you is the present. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and it's a brand new day. The old you was the ending. The new you is the start. The old you was the shadow. The new you is the sun. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the light is everywhere. The old you was the cold. The new you is the fire. The old you was the desert. The new you is the rain. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the garden is growing. The old you was the silence. The new you is the voice. The old you was the question. The new you is the answer. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the truth is finally clear. The old you was the nightmare. The new you is the dream. The old you was the illusion. The new you is the reality. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and it's better than you ever imagined. The old you was the struggle. The new you is the victory. The old you was the pain. The new you is the peace. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally home. The old you was the journey. The new you is the destination. The old you was the search. The new you is the find. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and it's time to stay. The old you was the traveler. The new you is the native. The old you was the guest. The new you is the host. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the house is yours. The old you was the guest. The new you is the owner. The old you was the renter. The new you is the landlord. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the world is your home. The old you was the child. The new you is the adult. The old you was the follower. The new you is the leader. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the path is yours to lead. The old you was the student. The new you is the teacher. The old you was the listener. The new you is the speaker. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the message is yours to share. The old you was the observer. The new you is the creator. The old you was the consumer. The new you is the producer. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the work is yours to make. The old you was the player. The new you is the game changer. The old you was the piece. The new you is the player. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the game is yours to win. The old you was the loser. The new you is the winner. The old you was the failure. The new you is the success. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the victory is yours. The old you was the victim. The new you is the hero. The old you was the story. The new you is the author. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the story is yours to write. The old you was the past. The new you is the future. The old you was the end. The new you is the beginning. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the life is yours to live. The old you was the shadow. The new you is the substance. The old you was the ghost. The new you is the flesh. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally real. The old you was the lie. The new you is the truth. The old you was the fake. The new you is the authentic. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally you. The old you was the person you thought you had to be. The new you is the person you were always meant to be. The old you was the person other people wanted. The new you is the person you want. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and it's the best person you've ever met. The old you was a memory. The new you is a masterpiece. The old you was a draft. The new you is the final. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the work is finished, but the life has just begun. The old you was the seed. The new you is the tree. The old you was the egg. The new you is the bird. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and it's time to fly. The old you was the cocoon. The new you is the butterfly. The old you was the caterpillar. The new you is the wings. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the sky is yours. The old you was the earth. The new you is the air. The old you was the water. The new you is the fire. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are the light of the world. The old you was the dark. The new you is the day. The old you was the night. The new you is the morning. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the sun is rising. The old you was the winter. The new you is the spring. The old you was the autumn. The new you is the summer. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the season is yours. The old you was the year. The new you is the century. The old you was the moment. The new you is the eternity. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the time is now. The old you was the space. The new you is the universe. The old you was the atom. The new you is the galaxy. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are everything. The old you was the nothing. The new you is the everything. The old you was the zero. The new you is the infinite. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally complete. The old you was the half. The new you is the whole. The old you was the part. The new you is the total. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally one. The old you was the division. The new you is the union. The old you was the conflict. The new you is the peace. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the war is over. The old you was the battle. The new you is the victory. The old you was the soldier. The new you is the king. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and the kingdom is yours. The old you was the servant. The new you is the master. The old you was the slave. The new you is the free. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally home. The old you was the exile. The new you is the citizen. The old you was the stranger. The new you is the brother. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally loved. The old you was the unloved. The new you is the beloved. The old you was the alone. The new you is the together. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally seen. The old you was the invisible. The new you is the visible. The old you was the hidden. The new you is the revealed. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally real. The old you was the shadow. The new you is the light. The old you was the ghost. The new you is the soul. The old you is gone. The new you is here, and you are finally you.